Alright, gang, are we live? Sure, looks like we're live. We be live again. Copy link, yes, there we go. Hello, hello, hello. Hopefully people are doing good. I can't imagine I'm going to get that much traffic today. Let's throw this in the announcements quick, as the usual. Hope everyone's having a good day. I've saved a special gift for everyone. Trying to fix textures. Spoiler, that's what we're going to try and do today. I'll explain why. So I have this weird bug and I'm going to try and attack it. Let me just check the audio levels are all good. I'm going to have to literally listen to myself on a different computer while I get up the chat. Yeah. Oh, I don't think I'm even playing any music. Okay, there. Turn that up a bit more. Alright, that should be good. Alright, yeah. Anyway, so we have this issue. When it comes to our engines texture mapping, and I can explain that by actually let's increase the intensity. This is going to help us out throughout the whole of this. This is just a lighting thing. Intensity, no, range, that's what I want to do. Right, so although it's not going to look as good briefly, I think I'm just going to 10x the range so I can actually see the whole model. Yeah. The intensity's a bit low. Need to increase that. It's just a bit dark everywhere. Yeah, screw it. Put it at 40. Oh, get off. Right, there we go. It's tangled up then. Right. Hello again, Spider-Man Lifts. Hello. Hope you're having a good day. Nice and early for the streamy. Yeah, of course I remember you. You, I don't know how many streams ago. You were definitely here like last week. So, yeah, we're going to attempt to fix this issue, mostly demonstrated. Could you switch to directional light? I literally, the only lighting I have is a literal spotlight. I don't do anything else. I mean, I could just write some directional light, but I don't know the maths right now off the top of my head. Unless you know how to change the intensity and the distance. Right now, I don't think it's that much of an issue anyway. We can see what we need to work with. We need to work with this. Ratchet and I, who's just mentioned about the directional light, we looked at this yesterday and we saw this awful artifacting, and I've had this issue for a while. It's subtly, the textures are subtly wrong at the edges of geometry, so it's mostly, it looks right, but this is wrong. Like the normal map here is not right. But you can mostly see it here on this ridge. This is like the biggest giveaway. You continue Linux maxing, brilliant. Normalize, light direction, radiance. Yeah, the normal map's be wrong. Right, yeah, you know what? I will do that because that'll help us out. So let's just see if I can get this right. L, which is the L. Where's the L calculated? L. What's the L again? BRDF wise. Oh, here it is. Where's that? I usually send this in, don't I? This is not useful. Equals. Ah, there it is. So you're saying normalize light direction. Sure. Not the position. Light direction. That would be the position, actually. Let's just see what that does in our lighting. Interesting. Which is fine for a minute. And we have the other thing what we need to do, which is radiance. Where's the radiance? I think you mean light intensity? No. Light range. Which radiance? Light color times by intensity. Light color. I'll come back to this. I want to explain what we're doing first before we, because there's something I want to do before we even begin messing with textures. I will leave that for a sec. I thought it would be cool. I don't know how many people are here, but might as well do it now. To commit before we start, because I have deleted a lot of code. So we're going to do that right now. So I fixed a bug in between these streams. I have deleted a lot of code. So we only get to really see this once when we commit. So what we did last stream, for people who weren't here, is we moved from render passes to dynamic rendering. And if you don't know, render passes is intense with how much code setup is and how much details you end up sending to the graphics driver. You send over more details than you actually need. And we removed that for the newer dynamic rendering, which is core in Vulkan 1.3. I'm definitely going to require that when you run this game, or game engine. You're going to have to require 1.3 on your drivers, so that is why I wanted to say this for this stream. Because yes, before this I was just deleting everything. Implemented, choose proper English, dynamic rendering. So, oh, look at that, nearly 1,000 lines of code deleted. And when we added 109, so it's more like 700. But that is nice. That's what I'm looking at if people can't see. As they say, the best coders don't write code, they delete code. So I must be one of the best coders right now, eh? Anyway, push. Also, tell me if the music's too loud. I think I got it right. I don't want it to be too quiet so you can't hear it at all. But I don't want it to be too loud that it's like you can barely hear what I'm saying. I have it at 80, so that should be good. And my voice at 100. You want to make your own Windows manager, but right now you're getting started hard. That makes AI like a god. That makes AI a godlike programmer when it deletes your code base. Exactly. Control A delete is makes you the best programmer on the planet. But yeah, that has vastly simplified the engine. I thought I would show that because it always is satisfying to basically have the same code running with way less lines of code. That is always nice. So yeah, we're going to tackle this artifacting. There is no difference between. So yeah, I should, just for people, I should bring up this model in Blender. And I'm not very good at Blender, so it might take me a minute to get to the same like ridges. But basically, I'm going to show you that the model that we're working with, this sponsor model. I really should put my camera outside the. This in Blender is fine when I go into shader mode. So I'm just going to do that quickly, and so we're going to import this model, go to shader mode, and should be good. Right, let's bring in this model. So we are in sponsor 5. Let it load. Scroll out. And I'm terrible at this, by the way, so it's going to take me a minute to like figure out. But go to shading, and so this is the model in Blender. Let's make this a bit bigger. And yeah, what I need to do is zoom in quite a bit, and if I go over there, if I can, I'm really honest. How does this? But anyway, you can see basically that this lines up fine, and let's bring this up. My version. Yeah, it's probably better. We don't line up fine. So it's Blender 1. It's hard to see, but you can see this darkness at the bottom. And with this, we have like swapping. I wish I knew how to mute. I really don't know how anything works in Blender very well. I'm like stuck to the bottom. I wish I could just move with Waster, but how do I do this? Can you output just the albedo? Yes, I can totally do that. And I think that's a good starting point, actually. We can get rid of everything other than the lighting. That's actually a really smart move. We can just literally make base lighting the final color, which I'm going to do, which, yeah, that's a good call, that, actually. So, yeah, let's just do albedo, which, for those who don't know, is just the base color. You'll see, it's very simple. It makes everything kind of look ugly, but right, let's get rid of this. Don't save. Why can't I comment out everything? Key combinations seem are bound. Not currently available. Huh? Fine. We'll do the next best thing. Cool. Right. So we should see no lighting. Yeah, so I should have done it to begin with. Alright, cool. So albedo. Huh. Wait, what? It's not albedo. Okay, that's the first interesting stuff. So getting right into it. The albedo textures are fine. So it's the normal textures? That's the only thing. I've been looking at the wrong thing then the entire time. It could be the normals. Very weird. Okay. It's my lighting that's incorrect. Okay. So yeah, it's either my lighting or my... so let's bring back in bits. That's actually really useful to know. So it's actually my lighting in general. What I'm going to do is... I'm going to do this. Let's bring everything back for a minute. And then we can comment out bits that we don't care about. And if we're going to be messing around in the... What is it called? Fragment shader. I'm going to turn on the extension that I turned off because I was getting annoyed in the fragment. Well, I wasn't annoyed, but we're just going to enable this for a minute. This is just going to help with syntax highlighting. Let's see. Let's open and close it. I might have to open and close Visual Studios. Yeah, give me a second. So I've just enabled an extension that's going to tell me all sorts of things are wrong, but they're not wrong. Yeah, I can just show the vertex shader as well. So the vertex shader, I wonder if it's the tangents. I haven't actually tested the tangents, and this model doesn't have tangents. And maybe I've got the tangent vectors all wrong. Yeah, because it's hitting this. Okay, this is just like a shot in the dark. Let's just have no tangent vectors. No, what do I want to do actually? Tangents. So tangent attributes. T and B. What I'm going to do is just set this to a... Okay, that's already set to hopefully an identity matrix. So let's just get rid of this. This would be really quick. Right, I'm just going to get rid of that. I'm just going to, yeah. This is just like a quick check. Wait, what? Oh, the lighting's all screwed up. Why is the lighting screwed up? Okay. We're in a weird... However... Yes. The texture, the lighting, so it is the lighting, it's 100% the lighting. But because we set this value, we're using bitangents. I think we're using tangents and bitangents, so this is wrong, effectively. Because this model does not have tangents. I could export it. Hang on. You're trying to normal map with the garbage. Yes, TBN. Yes, exactly. It's currently... Right, okay, give me a second, guys. I've got an idea. I think there is a setting in Blender to export a GLTF file with tangents. And I'm just kind of curious what that would look like. So, if I get in Blender again, because I swear I saw this in the export. There's like a export with tangents. So I'm just going to import the same model as we saw earlier. I didn't think we'd be back in Blender, but here we are. This is just to confirm that it's the tangents actually messing up. Well, it's my bad code obviously messing up, but if it doesn't have tangents, then everything kind of poos the bed. and all that kind of stuff. So we have out sponsor 5 is the thing we're working with. Export, and we just need to put this back where we found it with the same name, and not export immediately. Assets, models. Let's call it 7. No, let's call it 5. I kind of like that. So I think one of these has. I swear I saw like a tick box when I was looking at this earlier. Yeah, you're just gonna have to give me a minute. There it is, right? So we've now exported with tangents. We are on GLB format. We are going to overwrite. Okay, so let's see. So if I put a breakpoint in my tangent extraction code, we can see if it's actually working. Let's see, where is it? Accesses, normals, tangents. Okay, so if this exists, then it should come through. We also need to copy and paste that model. If we don't rebuild with a CMake file, we won't actually get this updated model because it won't recognize that something's changed. Oh no, I put it in the. Never mind, I put it in the build directory. Okay, so everything should be good. Either way, this should tell us if we have tangents or not. And yeah, we do. Okay, so I didn't question this needs to be 4, so that could be wrong. We could end up overflowing here. Okay. And haha, there it is. It's the tangents. This entire time I was doing everything wrong when I didn't have tangents. Okay, but let's investigate a little bit, because yes, I could just say export everything with tangents, but I don't know. Do I want tangents baked in, or do I want to compute them on the shaders? So it is what Ratchet said. I am doing some garbage data, some garbage lighting calculations on a bad TBN because I don't have tangent vectors. And when I do have tangent vectors, I am computing them incorrectly, effectively. And my problem is, when I wrote this, I might have wrote this like nearly 2 years ago now, so I don't remember exactly what I was doing. You assume you've got pre-computed tangents? Yeah, I mean, you're right, actually. Now Ratchet's brought up a good point here. Should I always assume that I have tangents baked into the model? I mean, it's not exactly. Yeah, it like takes no time at all to import and export a model with tangents. Do I always assume that? I'm gonna say until otherwise specified by an actual artist who wants to work with me, or I download models from the internet that can't be exported from Blender. I'm gonna assume that I always need tangents. I always need tangents. The reason is if I start adding constraints to the engine that don't need to be there, I'm adding complexity where I don't need it. So I'm just going to say this model needs tangents because, yes, you need to give me tangents. And that means I can get rid of this flag thing altogether because it's the only thing it was checking for. Which is nice. That actually makes things a lot simple. Because I don't need this. Well, I mean, I could use that for something else. I know I use it for an attempt at transparency. But yeah, we don't want that anymore. Hi, Starboy. Hope you're having a good day. So you assume one set position, UVs, normals, tangents are present in each model, in each GLTF. Okay, cool. Yeah, sounds good. I mean, there is no need to overcomplicate the engine for no reason. And the whole point of making your own game engine is so you can simplify the thing. And this is a simplification I can make. So let's get on with it. So the fragment, let's get rid of this. There is more we can do. I was thinking about either moving to synchronization 2 or okay, that wasn't even guarded against. Or something else. Give me a second, I just want to make sure what else we got here. What else do we need to get rid of? I think we're good. Yeah, I had this kind of like alpha masking thing that I needed to fix. This needs to be gotten rid of. Yeah, I think that's literally it. I don't think there's anything else. I don't like the invalid texture index pattern. Assigning a dummy 1x texture avoids a branch. Yeah, I do have a dummy texture, which I do upload with a 1x texture. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's early on in this loading stuff. So yeah, we always assume we have textures. I do too. I don't assume that we don't have textures. It's there it is. So yeah, we do have a dummy texture and a sampler, a default sampler on top of that. And yeah, it has nothing in it, but it is 1x, 1 by 1 by 1, and it is a sampler. Do I? Oh yeah, you might be right. Hang on. Oh, these things. These are. So we don't have a branch for something like an albedo, but we can't. It's not always the case that we have a roughness, metallic, and I mean I could literally just send up an invalid text, an invalid. The thing is with this, we're using bineless, so we're indexing into an array of textures which may not be there. So it's kind of like, for now, if the index isn't invalid, then we're all good, I think. So we do have some branching, but that's only to turn on and off some textures that may or may not be there. For me, I wouldn't know how to make this non-branchless with... I mean, I could shove in the in the mindless descriptor set, I could shove in a dummy texture. And then we just access that one by one. Let's see if we can do that actually. So basically for emission, do we have occlusion? Occlusion, roughness and metallic? No, that's wrong. I think roughness and metallic are both the same thing. So this is... So yeah, this is occlusion. This is the roughness and metallic. And this is the normals. Yeah, let's see if I can do that. If I can shove in that one by one dummy texture on the CPU, that actually might be a really good idea. Because then we just have a straight path through for the compute shader. So it doesn't have to do any like weird branch prediction. Now where's the present class function? So yeah, let's see. So this is us updating things. For our mindless textures. So how do we know if we don't have a texture to write to in the descriptor set? I'm just gonna see like what ends up happening for the ducks. Yeah, because I think apart from emission, I need to see like a really simple thing that doesn't have many textures. So we're gonna render the ducks again. Otherwise, we're gonna be too... Yeah, 101, why not? Yeah, the sponsor model is too well behaved for this. We're going to see the mistake in not having a texture. We just need to make the radius huge. So intensity is fine. Okay, so the range is huge. We should be rendering ducks now. It doesn't have any bitangents. So I'm going to be having to export and import lots of things. So give me a minute. Alright, delete this. So I'm just going to have to take the duck model and re-export it with the tangents. Mesh tangents. Oh, okay, so it's every single time now. Well, I think I've got an instance of a Blender that does that. So we should see ducks. All right, cool. Cool. Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. So the next step is to delete all the checks that these say invalid. Yeah, because it is a good idea to try and in the pixel shader. Now, for those who don't know, like, yes, if statements are generally fine. There's nothing wrong with them in like C++ code, but when you're running a fragment shader, this is running for every single pixel on the screen for your game. So if it has to kind of do an if and an else kind of thing, it can be slower. So I want to see what happens without these guards rails in. Good. Okay, so I want to see some garbage. That's basically what I was after. So we know what it should look like, and now we've got like a bad thing happening. And I think I need to update this queue with a dummy texture. So this is when we create the texture, we add a resource. The question is, this is our queue. It has a texture handle index, which is just a number. So we need to be a bit further out from here. Yeah, there's no branch prediction on GPUs, and I think I don't know if that's. I might have read somewhere that there was like an older GPU that was doing some SIMD stuff that was trying to do branch prediction, but I don't think it's optimal for CPUs. Okay, so. Oh, are we in... Where are we? No, we are in... Have we loaded the model yet? Because we might actually be loading the dummy texture first. Yeah. So we're loading this... Why is this useful? Oh, this is the depth texture for the swap chain. So we're going to ignore this... I think this is the same deal, but for the dummy texture. Where are we now? Fonts, whatever. And... Right, okay, so we have a 32-bit texture being loaded. Sorry, I'm lying. Are you norm? 8888. Anyway, so why do we have two? Oh, hang on. Images. So if I have 4 textures for each material, how do I know that I'm not loading the others, if that makes sense? So image count 1. Because I don't know off the top of my head what I'm missing. I can easily find out by invalid textures, right? On the CPU side, I have a way to know, because I push up all the data, I copy the data basically in a dynamic uniform buffer object. I copy that over to the GPU with persistently mapped memory, and at that point I know that some of the textures are invalid, right? So there is a way in my code at least that I can work backwards. If not, I already know here. I just need to figure out exactly how to do this in a way that makes sense. Yeah, okay, so they're the garbage stuff. Let's go to the copying code, which is way further on. So at the very least, I can take, when I'm doing the copy, so at this point, yeah, give me a sec. I want to remember how the texture index is. So this is what I was looking at. So effectively, we don't have these at this point. So if I have diffuse only, this is quite easy to fix then. So I have the invalid texture scene. What I need to do is have, instead of this, an invalid, which is uint 16 max. I need to have the index of the dummy texture. So that can be copied over and accessed completely fine. because we do have the dummy texture already created, so we already have the handle. And that will be... Where's our dummy texture gone? Dummy texture handle, dummy texture. Okay, so the music has stopped. Yes, I am. So this, you need to be a uint60, so it's just the dot index. Excuse me. Okay, so do that, occlusion texture, and emissive. So they're going to access the dummy texture. Hopefully the... So that's the index. I just wonder if the bindless thing is going to work out what to do. Do we do anything? Right, let's just see what happens. This could crash or something like horrendous, because I might be trying to access a texture that isn't being updated with the bindless descriptors. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. So although we've got the handles, we don't have the data. So now we need to get the data into the queue, and effectively that we are missing like something that needs to be appended. And that is done with the Vulkan, in my code anyway, that is done here. We append things to a queue. This, right? So we say it's an update texture. We say what the current frame is. I don't need to know the current frame. I don't think we care, do we? Because this is at the beginning of the one. Okay. Now we do have a couple of textures to run through here, so one. Okay, so it's just one. I think that's just to match up with the initial step of things. So we just need to add the resources into this queue, which is easy enough. Easy to do because we have access to this. The reason we have this queue, by the way, is so we can update everything en masse rather than at random points, which is a data-oriented design thing. Updating en masse is a good idea if you can with flat arrays. So I need to access that GPU dot texture update bindless, right? So I just need to make a resource. ITC, so you said, does the GPU just stall until it figures out the prediction then? I think when you have no branch prediction, it has to do both. It has to like build up both. So a branch prediction allows you on the CPU to kind of just go down a particular path that's more likely. If there's no branch prediction, then it has to kind of build up both. So I don't know what the actual machine code would look like, but it has to be like, okay, there's a bunch of code here and there's a bunch of code there, right? We've got to have both. If you can get it so it's branchless, means that it doesn't have to worry about that at all. I don't think I'll see any speed up, but this is this type of optimization is useful for things in the future, when we have a lot more going on in the fragment shader. Like, you want to be... the fragment shader gets very complicated and very dense. So we won't see any speed up or anything like that. So yeah. Current frame equals 1. This is... the handle? It just wants to be a handle. Oh, it's even... okay, whatever. And this index is, okay, it's 32, good. And the other thing I need is dupe. Oh, interesting. So it's the waves that have separate program counters. I did not know that. But anyway, the point still stands that you have. You just want to reduce the amount of things that the fragment shader has to do, especially with like 4K monitors if you're planning on supporting that kind of stuff. Because if you support things at 4K, then you're doing like 4,906 pixels x 4,906 or whatever the resolution is. It's an insane amount of work for the fragment shader to do a full screen pass. Anyways, update type texture. Okay, and then we just push our little guy onto our stick, our cue even. Okay, so yeah, waves and warps. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why they couldn't decide to call them the same thing. I don't know what was going on there. Actually, I don't need to copy and paste that. I bet Apple calls them something even worse. Ah, okay, I forgot to do the normal texture completely. And submissive, occlusion, roughness. Alright. Alright, let's see what happens there. Interesting. We're still not getting the right thing. Oh, Vulkan calls them subgroups. That's what they... Right. That's actually quite useful because I knew what subgroups were independently of waveforms when I was doing subgroup stuff with the occluding. For some reason, I never put the pieces together. That the subgroups are just warps / waves. It makes total sense though because you operate with subgroups at 32 to 64. And you can do subgroup broadcasting, which all the threads get updated with some non-constant value with this particular extension I was using. Yeah, that makes total sense. Okay, so we are still not happy. Despite us uploading the texture. Sorry, uploading the resources. With the dummy texture index. Do we need a sampler as well? Let me just look at the code that does this updating. So this is the setup of this, where we got a VK image and all that kind of stuff. What I might do actually is update it later. In fact, that's probably better. If I set the index to invalid here, I could probably update it more correctly. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that, because I did have some kind of contingency for this. Sorry, let me go back. I just need to get to... I've lost where we need to be. Yeah, I'm thinking... Okay, we're literally right here. So... Yeah, let me go into Git for a minute, because there is... Oh wait, no, I don't need to do that. I can go into my bindless notes. I'm actually going to pull out the one I thought I would never need again, because I'd never look at this code. So we create a dummy texture here. Then so effectively what I want to do is check if it's an invalid index, then this info needs to be dummy texture and dummy sampler. Alright, so that would just simplify everything. And I can actually get rid of some things. Let's just see. My notes say surround everything, including this. Yeah, image view. We just need image view and sampler surrounded. Okay. So if... Yeah, this is way better than what I was doing, rather than adding something to the queue. Texture. We want the handle, so access texture. If we have an invalid handle, this is going to break. Give me a second, let me think. Okay, so we need to be doing it here. If texture resource, texture to update, handle is equal to invalid texture. Fine. Do you have to be... Okay, so if it's not this, then we do everything totally chill, as before. And we finish here. We don't want this anymore. Do this, and else we want our dummy texture to just set up the sampler and the image view with our dummy texture that we accessed earlier. I'm going to ignore IntelliSense for a minute, unless we don't have access to this. No, we don't. Okay, so that's easily fixed. So I just need to pull this out of the if statement. Can't make a reference now. Ugh. I'll make it stack. I don't think there's any issue with that. Oh, hang on. It's a... Ugh. This is from an array element. Current right index. Where's this come from? Oh, it's just come from there. Alright, I think I can actually pull this out in its entirety. Like this. I don't see... We weren't incrementing that right operator. Current right index at any point, were we? Oh, and you too. Fine. Okay, so S type. Sorry, I'm going a bit quiet on you and the chat. What am I making? I'm making a nice little renderer for a game I want to make. Yeah, a game or a game engine of some sort. So I'm currently working on the rendering code because, unfortunately, rendering is one of the most expensive things when it comes to games, second to collision detection and updating the world, and third to handling inputs. So the majority of the time when you're making a game engine, you spend on, well, initially at least, you spend it on making sure the render is fast enough for the things you want to do. Yeah, okay, so there's like 20,000 different things here that I need to... Wait, I'm being stupid. I've just overcomplicated this like crazy. I'm glad I took a break then. Sorry, yeah, I just realized I can do something a lot simpler. Instead of having a whole if statement here, I could just assign that texture variable depending on what the... depending on if it's an invalid or not, and it's like so much easier. Alright, so if I wasn't having an aneurysm, we would write this like this. Very simple. If else Dunzo, right? That's it. That's as complicated as it needs to be. And then we just go, we just pass this pointer around. In fact, I can save duplicating some code, throw this in here, dummy texture equals this, and we are good to go. And we just say if, get rid of this. Oh, hang on. Texture. Sorry, I got that a little bit wrong. Texture is this. Get rid of the dummy texture. So if texture to update is dot invalid, so our handle is equal to invalid texture dot index. Oops. Come on, intelligence, work with me. Index. We have assigned this here. Very nice. Okay, so let's catch up with chat for a sec. Could I ask you, how did you learn Vulkan? I learned Vulkan in a way I probably wouldn't recommend anyone does this today. Just because I learned it like 3-4 years ago now. That's when I started anyway. I was on and off a bit on with it. Maybe 2 years ago, I can't remember. If you do want to learn Vulkan, what I would recommend is start with How to Vulkan. So Adam says rendering is nothing compared to physics, AI, networking. Yeah, altogether, honestly, it's what I mean is it's not more difficult or anything like that. Like Vulkan and rendering can be easier than those things. It's just generally speaking, in the usual case when it comes to game engines, most of the frame is going to be taken up by the rendering. That's all really. And it also depends on the game, right? If you have a really simple scene and you have like really complicated networking going on, well, any networking really is complicated, or let's just say really advanced physics, and you have a really simple scene, then rendering is just going to be nothing. But if you do have like really expensive lighting and all that kind of stuff going on, then all the work that the GPU has to do is all to do with rendering, unfortunately. Yeah, and also OGL. OGL dev is a great place to learn Vulkan for sure. Yeah, I mean, networking can slow things down, but not because of the fact that it's complicated to deal with. It's more latency. That's it, basically. That's the only reason that networking would be really slow. If you have like a separate thread that deals with networking and a separate thread that does rendering, and they aren't completely, nothing kind of goes wrong or anything like that, then yeah, you can totally just like go nuts with it. So anyway, I want to set this. What do I want to do with this now? I want to set this to dummy index, maybe. I think I need to do a little bit more code in the descriptor right stuff, I think. So if this comes through with an invalid, I need to set it to the dummy index. Yeah, basically, that's basically all I need to do. So if equals to invalid index dot index invalid index. So I'm going to say if not equal for a minute, just to make my life easier. Then we go if this, else. I always get these backwards. I wonder if I'll ever write a ternary operator correct the first time. Then we want dummy texture. I mean, we could have simplified this down here to the same deal, but index? Yeah, because the handle is... What is the handle? Yeah, it's just a UInt32, so there we go. I think that's right, destination array. Yeah. I mean, this could blow up, but let's see what else we're doing. So the texture handle... these can't be the same because of what we've done here up here. Yeah, because when... Oh no, wait. No, these won't be the same. Okay, so we can't assume this is true anymore. We'll just void assert. So then everything looks the same. We have the texture. We have a default sampler if it's null, which is fine. We have an image layout. We have delete swap. I think we should be good if I set this to an invalid texture now. Alright. So let's see. The question is... I'm accessing the texture, right? This dummy texture is here. I might have two textures, hang on. Yeah, this might not be... I might have done this a bit silly billy. Yeah, I probably need to get dummy texture rather than like make another one. Yeah, I think I've made two here. Okay, so that's easy enough. We even have a function. Should I be a good C++ developer and use it? So yeah, this thing here is a different texture, which I don't want to use. Yeah. I just have two for some reason. And I have a dummy sampler. Yeah, let's get rid of that as well. Oh no, this is way more used. Okay, sorry. Let's go back. We'll, the sample is dead cheap anyway, so who cares? So for every one of these, we want to take this GPU dot... Alright, let's make sure it works first, hang on. GPU dot... no. Oh, I copied the wrong thing. Get dummy texture that we created. Dot index. Ugh. Gross. Fine. Right. Okay, now we're all using the same texture. Hang on, this this dummy texture is going to not be an invalid texture. Isn't this just what we had before? Yeah. Right, I'm just gonna... Okay, one thing at a time. I think I've literally just written code and then simplified it again. Now, what am I doing? Give me a sec. I've done this wrong, I think this needs to be invalid. This needs to be invalid. No, this... Okay, so... yeah. To even use the code that I've just done, this needs to be an invalid index, which is just a... the same as an... actually, I'm just going to make this an invalid texture with the thingy. If I even have it. Invalid texture. No, it should be the same. But I'm starting to think that I need to... I can probably simplify this even again. But I want to see what I did. Did it work? Because I can just use that index. I don't have to do an invalid if statement, basically. But this will test at least I've got it right. I've got the right idea at least. Yeah, Dr. Eggman is in here. So... Index 1. Give me a second. That didn't run? If it's equal to... Oh! If it's not equal to invalid is correct, sorry. This... If it's not invalid, we do the first one first. Where are we? Okay. F5. So hopefully we have a correct one. Here. Oh. How large is this? Is this... Okay, it's got 5. There's one more. Okay, so yeah, okay, that's good. That's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see 4 textures, not good, using the dummy texture, and then the last one using the whatever, blah de blah, right? Nope, we're back here again. For 3. Don't know why we're here again, but fine. No, it's still gross. But anyway, let's I kind of overcomplicated this. What I'm gonna do actually is, because if I literally just set the index to a dummy texture, then I don't need to do this anyway. This is completely redundant. I was thinking about this earlier. It's like this then will be always true, I think. We can rely on that being true, because all I'm going to do here is go into main, and instead of having an invalid texture, we just set the index of the dummy texture, which, you know. Cool. All right. Okay, so let's cut to a chat. Adam says, one thread, main handles everything because of the communication. One for physics, one for AI. The rest should be worker threads, handling discrete entity component system tasks. In a scheduler, the entity component system elevates everything. Managers handles everything with component. Yeah, I mean, that's a completely valid way of writing an engine. That's Mr. Squidward. You squeam. I don't know. I have not watched the. I assume that's a reference in the movie. I do actually want to watch the newest Sonic movies. They seem fun. No, still. Ugh. Right. Looks like we are fixing I'm just going to check the copy code when I'm doing the copy over and just see what the valids, what the indices are. Oh, thank you very much. Cool. It's just a cool word you made up. Very good. I very much approve of silly things like that. All right, so let's just see the copying. Okay. Yes. 1 1 1 1 and 3. 1. Individual threads can be used. Why the index 1? I'm just going to check the dummy textures creation, see what that's like. Because if it doesn't have any data in, I've got to check that data is actually good. What's the initial data, basically? Okay, that's not going to do well, is it? We have no data in there. 32 RGBA, so that's 8, 16, 24, 32, yeah, okay. 1. So that created with that. Whoops. Nope, still not good. Dummy texture. I'm just going to bring this back for a sec just to make sure. I wonder if I created this well and the other one I haven't created well. Set data. That just sets initial data. Yep. Size. I wonder if I set the size wrong or something. Nope. Depth 1, height 1. It has initial data now. Set this to 0 perhaps? I don't think I use this. I don't know why this is here. Watching math videos, taking long notes, very good. Always good to take notes. I underestimate how actual useful that is. What's the maths, by the way? Are you doing some linear algebra or something? I think I'm learning Archimedes, but mostly just cooking your brain. Cool. Why not, eh? YouTube is really pausing this quite a lot today. Okay. Oh, I think I'm not shutting down a texture, that's all. Yeah, ignore that. No, I'm doing everything right, I think. What on earth would I... Why can't I just send up a dummy texture? Right, I'm going to look at the texture creation code and just see what else I need to do to actually create a texture. There might be like an extra step that I'm missing. But if that's the case... Okay, so texture data, size. That creates a texture resource. I should just go to here. Texture handle. Why is it a different? Oh, I used the renderer version. Okay. Why? It's gonna be the same, right? Give me a minute. Ooh. Ah, three blue, 1 brown. Ah, I love that guy. He is... Honestly, he makes like really complicated maths super accessible. I think I went over his linear algebra series like, oh, I don't even know, 10 times or something. And that was after reading like a linear algebra book and doing a load of studying. It was still super useful. He's such a good teacher. Right. I'll leave you with that video then. But, yeah. Sounds complicated, that's all I can say. So... Ah, this is awkward. Oh, hang on. textures might be completely fine. Or are they? Okay, so let's just check what is what. So yeah, I had a feeling the normal texture was not good. But if this returns the other thing I want to check is the roughness. Like okay, interesting. Emission. Didn't seem to change anything at all. Yep, okay, so it's literally just the normals. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. So the normal texture is not happy with what we're doing. I mean, it's possible they're all bad, but it just... out of curiosity, let's just... what I'm going to do is I'm going to render the sponsor model without that multiplication, and I just want to see what ends up happening. Right. And then we, oops. And then we, okay, so we're going to render one sponsor model, and we're not multiplying the normals by the TRF or whatever. Okay. Whoa. Interesting. So, oh, hang on. The intensity might be set all silly. That might not be anything to do with anything. Yeah, so we have the lighting range up to Oblivion. Shut yours, the gates to Oblivion. Yeah, so that might be just the lighting being stupid for this particular model. Yeah, okay, so no, it's still not. Okay, so that's good to know. We then do this. And then we get, yeah, then we get things behaving. So that is correct, effectively. If we have a valid model, the normals are calculated properly. However, with a normal texture, we don't... It's like we get garbage still. And I'm kind of confused because we're updating the descriptor sets. I'm curious if it's to do... No. Let me think. I was going to say race conditions or something, like in the shader, because we're accessing the same... It's effectively the same texture every single time. So it's the same index into the same shader. No, that's fine. I mean, it's not like it's that divorced from C that the index in an array can be 1 multiple times, or 20, or whatever the value could be. Let's remove bindless. No. Oh yeah, I forgot I did some of it at Pokemon. Jump scare. What is the image index when it's valid? No, this makes... I'm so... We definitely create the texture. I don't see anything bad. I think this does need to be 1. This has to have something in it. Let's see. So it turns 1. Cool. Let's investigate how it's created. Hang on. It's possible we're just continuing in the updating. Yeah, I'm going to skip this for a minute. Is that the issue? Oh, yeah, we need to bring back sponsor. Sorry, the ducks even... let's see, ducks. I have to admit, I thought this would be a really quick fix. But I guess that's the thing I was thinking about. The things I thought I would struggle with, I thought, oh, this is going to take forever. But we solved that so quickly that now we're on to a completely different problem, which I thought would be really quick. Ironically, is taking forever to fix. So yeah, the individual vectors are just like garbage for the normals. Which isn't good. They have tangents. And they work, if I remove tangents, they work fine. Sorry, if I remove this normal multiplication thing, they work fine. So it's definitely this normal coming through with, you know, I can literally just change this to 1. Actually, I don't know what that's going to do. So that, I know there's always 1. Yeah. Because we investigate that. That's what the index is. So we have VK image view type, VK yes. Oh, hang on. No, this is wrong. This needs to be a unorm. BGR. No, RGB, yeah, no. I think that's right. Is that what I've used for other things? Yeah, I was using just an R component. Yeah. Okay, so every other texture is using the same type. So at least we have the right type now. I know we haven't fixed it, but that was a mistake. Next, let's go back. Why did we teleport? Okay, so here we are again. I don't even know why that was RGB. Alright, I'm just going to try 0. I know we've already tried this, but we didn't try this with the correct format. Nope. Okay. I've noticed the start time's got a lot faster. Depth 0? That just might error out. Yeah. So we need depth at least. It'll say something like you did something silly. Okay. Just looking at the Discord. No. Still not nice. I don't see what I've done wrong. That's the question. I don't know what to look at, to be honest. Okay, let's look at this updating code again. We have 5 things to get updated here. And they're all 1. We have emission, occlusion, roughness, normal, and albedo. So there should be 5. No, 8. Okay. Let's just check something. I might be... How many times are we running through this? How many primitives do we have? Okay, so we have a primitive count of 1. We append this. Hang on. Where's this push? That's the other thing. So we should be. I don't know why we've got 8. We should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, and what is this from? This could be somewhere else. Okay, this is the dummy texture. Sure. And we are... Oh, we're adding this. Oh, that changes things because we're adding it multiple times. Oh, what does it? Yeah, every time we create a texture... Oh, this could... Hang on. Okay, so I think I messed up my queue. We already have a dummy texture that's come in. What's the index? 0. Alright, so... If that's the case... fragment shader, what on earth is 0 then? What's that going to do? So we're effectively adding this twice. Still terrible. But yeah, I forgot that happens. Yeah, okay, so... yeah, this is completely redundant. Okay. Alright, so I think we've made progress there. So we don't need to create more than one texture. That already gets added to the queue. Alright. Cool. Okay, so nothing blew up. The fragment shader. Yeah, let's put this back. Okay, cool. Still broken. Out of curiosity, what would happen if I put the albedo as normal? Kind of curious now, because I... Okay, that's good. What I wanted to see is something different. I just wanted to make sure that we're not doing something silly. So, when we create the dummy texture, we add it to the queue. Here, it gets added to the queue. I wonder if it should be just R. Because what is the value of a 1x1 pixel with one piece of data in? Is it really that? Same deal. Change this to 1 again. Because we might just be setting that to null. Okay, so it's got something in it now. Let's check the stream health. Cool. Okay. So we have normals, we have we don't need a sampler because we already have it here. If we're loading this, this comes from here, the texture resource. In the updating code, we have a dummy texture. That didn't change anything, so I'm going to put it back. Did I delete out that? Okay, so 100%. Right, I'm just gonna make sure that we're not assigning null at any points. I don't think so. Okay, cool. Well, I gotta check this. Sorry. Yep. 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 Cool. And how big's the queue? Why is it 4? There should be 1. Let me just check push. Okay, so that's the only place that's happening. Oh, there's likely more going on here. There's yeah, for the debug windows and stuff like that, but yeah, I still want to test it anyway. This is for... What's this for? I thought I did this already, hang on. I just press F5 and we're back here again. What? Okay. I don't think we ever use this. I think I can get rid of it. A dummy constant buffer. When do we have a buffer that we just don't want to use, that we need to use a constant thing? Literally nowhere? We're just doing like a pointless allocation here. Yeah. When have we needed this? Never. Alright. Okay, so where are we? We are here. Dummy texture creation. Why do we have two? What? We have a defloat 30. Oh, depth. Oh, I'm such a... I read that as dummy for some reason. Idiot. Right, okay, so... Then we have the dummy texture. Cool. Yeah, so we need that texture to be updated for the swap chain. Now, what's next? Yeah, okay, so the fonts, which I would expect it to be the only one. And this should be the... Yeah, this. So we create a dummy texture, a depth texture, the albedo texture for this model, and... Sorry, I just had a thought about MIPs. Do I need to create a MIP chain for every single texture? Don't know. Yeah, so that should be it. Then we update those 4 textures. There's nothing special about them. Index 1 is the dummy texture that we created earlier. Alright. And... that should be part of the... what is it called? The shader, but it clearly is just junk. My question is for the normal. It's the only texture that's an issue is the normal for some reason. Okay, let's do something a bit weird. Get rid of this for a minute, and then I'm gonna break plus 1,000 minus 1,000. So, oops, 500 cigarettes. Right. Okay, let's see what that does. Right. So debug, delete all thingies. F5 for a minute. I don't really care. Alright, so it does break, which is what I wanted to see. It's kind of I don't know why it's done that at all. That's kind of really strange. Good job we have thousands of well, 8,000 ducks, so we can see that. Cool. Because I know the dummy textures are index 1, what I'm going to do is render sponsor with the dummy texture. Is that correct? Is that what I want to do? Right. I am really tempted to just kind of bring this back for now. I'm trying to think, what should I do? I just don't understand why this is not working. I'm kind of stuck. I don't know why. It could be the texture coordinates. Would it matter if the texture coordinates are invalid? Okay, let me render the dock, and I am just gonna make a quick vector. Vec2 chords is equal. I think I can initialize like this. 0.1, no 0.0 and 1.0. What's wrong with this? No, you can't do that. Sounds good. Vec2. Ooh. Right. Throw that in there. They are just the same coordinates over and over again. No? Okay. What happens if I change them? Like this. Right, sanity check. Good. Okay, so we are using the shaders. Now we're going to go out of UV space. Interesting, it's just the same issue over and over again. Yeah, I think we get the same for music over and over again. Let me fix that. Yeah, although Dynasty Warriors music is good. YouTube, I don't know why YouTube does this, right? It like after a certain amount of time, it just kind of keeps repeating the same 4 pieces of music over and over again. Okay, finally. Mm-hmm. Right, what to do next? I did this in ages ago, my old engine. I wonder if it's worth looking that up. I mean, my really old engine, like this one. This engine is like just a clone from the Hazel game engine by Cherno. Nothing interesting, honestly. It's just a 2D tiler. It's yeah, it's good in some cases though. It's all written in OpenGL. And I swear I did some kind of like dummy texture at some point in this and used it as a way to render quads without any textures. And it was literally just a 1x1 texture in OGL. So I'm just going to look for that 1 second. Oh, interesting. This had this is actually a game. Hazel engine clones must be a pretty good proportion of all C++ game engines. Yeah, you know what? You're probably spot on there. Yeah, this is like a really early version. This is if you ever watched that YouTube series, it's everything before the entity component system was implemented. Because I didn't want to implement a entity component system for what I wanted to do. Yeah, because I just literally wrote my entities as simple as possible, which in retrospect is actually really it's what I'm going to do as well in the future. I don't have to write a complicated ECS for a game where I know every single entity in the game and what they're going to be and where they're going to be and what they're going to do. I can't see it. I swear it's just like at the beginning. I think this is game code. I want to see the engine code actually. Core. Oh, this is again. I worked on this 3 years ago now. Absolutely do not remember anything about it. Where on earth would this be? Renderer? Yeah, probably. If I can't find it soon, I'll just pop out of this and just keep trying. Yeah, so this looks like it's... Ah, okay, so that's how you set it up. That's the actual data you need to do. Ah, okay, that makes sense. That makes so much more sense. If it's using all 4 components, then it needs to be a bit bigger than just the number 1. I don't think it'll fix everything, but at least it's in the right direction. Okay. That unironically is already like a better than the one I was doing before. Still not quite right. Can't quite figure out why. It might be the type now. Give me a sec, let's go back. So it's a 1:1 texture, yes. It needs to be completely like that. It could be the type now, but I don't know what type to set it to be honest. I'll try S-float. Yeah, I don't know why I'm looking. I can S-float. No. That's for something else. Unome then. Fine. And we'll change this to just R. Okay, so that's wrong as well. Creating like this data is super confusing. sRGB, that's the one I was thinking of. Not Unome. I can see why. I think I don't know if this works, to be honest. Because what's happening is we're getting both sides of the extreme. I don't think there's any difference here, honestly. I think what I'm getting is it looks better here, but we're just getting the inverse problem, where one face has a normal that points directly in the right direction and the other one doesn't. So it doesn't really matter. Like, for example, here, I think if we... Yeah, I don't think this is possible with no. I don't think you can write like a... Like, I don't know. I could be completely wrong here, but I don't think you can write a texture. I don't know, a dummy texture for normals. For a normal texture. Like, what was that? What would that even mean? Either it's completely... Yeah, I'm just going to throw that back in because I don't... In my head, I just do not understand how you would write a normal texture. A dummy normal texture. What does that even mean? Like, what does... Literally, what data would you write? I mean, the truth is, if I just get rid of that multiplication, that's the actual issue. Not the actual normal thing that comes through, right? Yeah. So that's actually correct. That's actually what we should be looking at. So it's... Okay, so how I'm going to work this through is... The problem is if I remove this, when you do have a texture, it doesn't work. So it's almost as if we need kind of like a... Yeah, you can have the texture. Dude. Because we have a dummy texture. But for the multiplication... And if I go back to here... Yeah, I'm just thinking in my head, like, what would a texture be? What would a normal texture be? I just do not understand in my head what would a dummy texture of a normal... Sorry, what would a dummy normal texture even mean? Because that's representing something different than... Because that generates the normals. Oh, I am? Yeah, I'm still streaming. And I'm going to move on from what we've been doing. I don't think there's a way to generate normal texture data from just a dummy texture. It doesn't make sense. I don't know what would that mean. Especially the way my fragment shader is. We do this multiplication here, and it assumes that we've got a normal texture that makes sense, multiplied by TBN, and then we normalize that. Yeah, it just breaks. And if I pass in just like all the normals maxed out, or all the normals at 0 for all the components for the sRGB, what does that mean when I'm doing that multiplication? It just doesn't make sense to the renderer. Sure, I mean, but I think I'm pretty much done with this task. I think for the rest of them it's fine, but I'm going to have a branch. In my current implementation of this anyway, I don't think you can have a dummy normal texture with that multiplication in there. Yeah, so invalid index. Let's see. Yeah. Let's make this bigger. I don't see how this... Can you see that, Ratchet? I don't see how that multiplication works with just like a random dummy piece of dummy texture. For a normal. For the TBN that we worked out earlier with the tangents and the bitangents. It completely... I'll show you what happens, because I don't think you were here for this. Yeah, this is what happens. You see that? So it's like the normal map is... that multiplication is destroying the normals. So the lighting calculation goes all wrong. And it's it's not the actual texture itself. Like, I can literally have, like, normal equals this. And then we just set this, the n, right? And then we have this multiplication or whatever. We use this n later on. But it's this actual equals operator here. Like, if I get rid of that, everything goes back to normal, because it hasn't destroyed the normals. Like, this is a duck that looks very normal, and this duck does not have normals, by the way. This is not a normal mapped model. You set it to 0.5, 0.5, 0.1. See, I've been setting every single one to the same. I mean, I could set up a... But I still think, like, what does that mean when I do that multiplication? So even if I do that, like, even if I go back to my dummy texture, and you set this what to... My dummy normal texture is... So that would be What's half of FF? So you have 0, 0, FF, 8, 8. Hang on. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Oops, I forgot Alex. I must have deleted something. That should be F. Oh, this might be backwards actually. Oh yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah, it's Windows. It's little endian. Oh, hang on. I think I've got the multiplication. Removed. Yeah, same deal. It's that multiplication. It's messing it up. Not the actual data. I could literally send this in as whatever. I literally could send in any junk data. That's, you know, just like one byte wide. But it's just not. It's not playing nice with that multiplication. It resolves to surface normals, I believe, after the multiplication. Yeah. So yeah, we're just gonna have to have a path for now. I think I'll have to rewrite my shaders to like. I mean, I don't mind if the other stuff's fine. But it's just that piece of code there is just does not work. I mean, we reduced some pathing. So that might help. But I'm gonna have to comment this in. Just write big comment. Yeah, so I don't know what your shader looks like, but this is what mine looks like, and it just isn't playing ball. This needs to be here because the shader implementation of this normals? I don't know, because let's just do this again. The shader in its current form doesn't work well with dummy normal texture data. Alright. Invalid texture. So that should be good now. Yep. It's whatever that is. I don't know how you've done that, so yeah, let's just move on. Admittedly, I'm kind of sick to death of this issue. Let's move the. Let's put this back to FFFF. Alright, let's just do that one more time because I might have missed out on F. Just do this one more time. Okay. Yeah, no. Yeah, nah. We are not doing this anymore. Holy. Okay. Right, so that's done. I mean, on the upside, we have... Because we got rid of that silly issue before. Let's change the range. I don't know. 500. Because we got rid of the tangent vectors being calculated or whatever. Ah. Why is there such a hard cutoff? I think the range needs to be bigger, maybe. I might have left something out. Give me a second. Shaders, shaders, shaders. I just had a thought. No, that just equals. No. What the heck? Why is the position being stupid? No, there, I did that. Light. Okay, so we got rid of that. Yes. Yep. Okay, whatever. Apparently this is how it always worked. So we only get light in this direction for some reason. But yeah, like I said, the ducks look a lot better. Like they are just behaving properly. Outside of the position, always growing in this direction. I think I need to offset it. Yeah, it's like growing in the wrong direction. Whatever. I'm sick of shaders right now. Sure. Let me just get it up then. It's more the shader, honestly. Ratchet, thanks for posting that, by the way. I feel like my what is it called? The physically based rendering is just, it's very fragile. I'll put it that way. I mean, Discord is dying on me. So, what do? You do a... I maybe could rearrange stuff. Because we do have a TBN here, but I'm changing the it looks like you don't have this at all. From what I've just seen, it looks like you don't even have that. But when I get rid of that, the spawner breaks. In my version anyway. So tangents, so your normals, you do this. Alright, yeah, cool. I'll have to look at this at a different point. It's a fragment shader anyway. Cool. Yeah, I'll have to look at this at a different point. I've been debugging this for Feels like a century. Yeah, thanks. Okay. So I do have a Discord. It should be linked in the description for anyone else who's curious what we're talking about. So what was I going to do? It might actually be a good idea to leave it here, to be honest. I would need to do a bunch of research on synchronization too. I want to write some notes on things, which are going to be, it's going to be just more research stuff. So yeah, thanks for joining me on this stream. I will see you in the next one. Hopefully that was enjoyable. You know, it's always been a pleasure for everyone. For me, honestly. For anyone who joins in. So